Launched to facilitate the movement to repeal Shoot First laws. Go to secondchanceonshootfirst.org to sign a petition calling on elected lawmakers to drop their support for these Koch brothers promoted Shoot First laws. But there's a bigger picture here that needs to be talked about, and that's exactly who or what should be writing our laws. I mean, this is really a much larger issue, frankly, than whether somebody should be able to, whether than Trayvon Martin or George Zimmerman or whatever. The question is, who makes our laws? You would think that the laws would be driven by a process of public outcry. In other words, when the people say, we have a problem, we need a legislative solution, the legislators would react. But there's no outcry for, hey, I want to shoot first. It's not like, it's just, this country's been around 220 plus years, 230 plus years. It didn't just suddenly say, gee, we need the option to shoot first. But Walmart and the NRA, they very much wanted people to have the option to shoot first because, if it's a justifiable homicide, it's fewer lawsuits for Walmart, plus it's the biggest gun retailer in the United States, and the NRA, that's the trade association that represents the gun manufacturers. So this diminishes their liability and increases their sales. So Walmart and NRA are on this council at the American Legislative Exchange Council that puts together this law, and then it gets passed off through ALEC, through the American Legislative Exchange Council, that the Koch brothers fund. It gets passed off to one of these meetings where the legislators are sitting literally next to lobbyists, Republican legislators, state representatives, and state senators, state assemblymen, sitting next to lobbyists, one-on-one. The legislators pay $100 to be there, and in the case of Virginia, the state paid over $200,000 to send their legislators to these ALEC meetings. And the lobbyists can pay anywhere from $20,000 to $100,000 to sit next to that legislator. And they have equal votes. The Republicans and the lobbyists, equal votes. A Democratic congressman from Wisconsin, Mark Pocan, paid his $100 and went to an ALEC meeting. He came back and told us this story.
What they essentially do is, like I said, it's a dating service for corporate lobbyists and legislators. They get you together. They have you write legislation. They have task force that, interestingly, are made up of half legislators and half industry lobbyists. And you need a majority vote from each group for something to advance. So you actually, not only do they write the legislation, but then they vote on the legislation.
The corporations.
Yes.
This is not democracy. That's not even a republic. That's corruption. What we have right now is a nation that has been captured, and not just our nation, our state legislatures as well, which is the focus of ALEC, has been captured by billionaires and lobbyists. In addition to producing the laws that are of benefit to the corporations and lobbyists, these things are producing unintended consequences like the death of Trayvon Martin. Americans are right to be disgusted. And now progressives are fighting back. This month, Color of Change and other organizations threatened a boycott against corporations who are ALEC members, and immediately ALEC sponsors started dropping like flies. Today, candy bar maker Mars dropped ALEC, so did Arizona's largest company, Arizona Public Services. They joined Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Intuit, Kraft, Wendy's, the Gates Foundation, all have dropped their ties with ALEC. ALEC calls the boycott an intimidation campaign. In fact, they released a statement saying, at a time when job creation and real solutions and improved dialogue among political leaders is needed most, ALEC's mission has never been more important. All right, a mission of corrupting democracy? I mean, that mission is to advance the interests of the 1% and the big corporations. Both in the ballot box by pushing legislation that will disenfranchise millions of Democratic voters, and in the economy by pushing legislation that repeals things like environmental laws, screws public service sector employee unions, gives legal cover to gun sellers. ALEC is one of the biggest threats to our democracy, frankly, in my opinion. And the fact that they're responding to this boycott this way means that it's working. So let's keep it up. Wake up your friends and neighbors and ask your politicians. Call them up and just say, hey, are you a member of ALEC? Do you show up to those things? Do you take money from the Koch brothers? Spread the word.